Good morning, everyone in Australia and Europe, and good afternoon here in North America. Yes. Okay. We start with the mantra of Lama Tsongkhapa. Me me de jen jen re me jen be wang bo jan be de bon ma le jom je sang we da kan jen ke be zu jen zong kam lo zong da be sha la so wan de me se de me jembe wang bon jambe ya de bon mal jom de sang we da gan jin ge be su jin tong ka lo san da be shab la so wan me me te chin chin re se te me jembe wang bon jambe ya te bon ma le jom de sang we da kan jin ke be su yin song ka ba lo za da be sha la so an de me me ze we de chen ze de me chen be wang bon jan be de bon ma le jom ze sang we kan jin ke be zu jin zong kam lo zan be shao la so wan de. The subject of the teaching today is refuge and karma. So, according First Pension Lama's commentary on Lam Rim, the Lam explains about the three scopes of Lam Rim, and so first scope or the first level or teaching for the person of initial capacity, he advised that one must meditate on four subjects. The first subject is meditate on impermanence, and meditate on suffering of the three lower realms, and then take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and then meditate on karma. So in Tibetan we say metapa, chewa metapa gomba, ngindu dungal gomba, jamdo sonde lende la yichi jiteba che. So so I explained already last week about the subject on impermanence of life, and briefly I also explained briefly about the suffering of sentient beings in general, particularly the suffering of three lower realms, the suffering of animal realm, and hungry ghost realm, suffering of hell realm, and so forth. And also generally speaking, the sufferings of the together 6 realms: the suffering of human realm, suffering of demigod realm, suffering of God realms. So if you want to talk about suffering, it never ends. You can talk for weeks and weeks, months. But also we do know sufferings. Right now we are suffering global suffering, pandemic. So I don't need to talk so much about suffering. So the next topic is about refuge. So kuncho sumna hini just songas. So first mention Lama advice that one should first uh, meditate on the object of refuge. So when say refuge, I go refuge to Buddha, I go refuge to Dharma, I go refuge to Sangha, right? And Tibetan word is gyap do. Gyap is refuge, and do is I go. I go refuge too. So the object of the refuge is the Buddha, the Dharma, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? And we, as a Dharma practitioner and the practitioner of Buddha's teaching and following the footsteps of the Buddha, then we take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the question here is why it is necessary to take refuge to Buddha first, Dharma second, third, Sangha third, and also generally speaking, why do we take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha? Some people say, well, we can take refuge to ourselves or take refuge to something else, somewhere else, or something else. Well, it is up to you, and you have a choice to take refuge to whoever you want, or don't take refuge to anyone. It is up to you. But here, occurring Dharma, Buddhism, we have tradition and we have teaching and philosophy, and we have psychology, and we have lots of experience, and we have history of taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and we have the evidence that taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is important one, and it is beneficial one, and it is actually the key to the door of liberation. It is the key to the door, or the door of enlightenment, and it is key to open the gate and get out from cyclic existence, from samsara. We have evidence, we have a proof, we have history and experience, right? This is why we are talking about taking refuge. So the Sanskrit Pali word is Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. I take refuge to Buddha. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. I take refuge to Dharma. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. I take refuge to Sangha. Tibetan word is Sanje la Chapsu Chiwo. Cho la Chapsu Chiwo. Gendun la Chapsu Chiwo. In English, I take refuge to Buddha. I take refuge to Dharma. I take refuge to Sangha. Okay. So, as I said earlier, some people ask question, you can take refuge to yourself. Well, if you can guide yourself, if you're totally capable to liberate yourself, to become enlightened by yourself, then I would say, why not? You can do that. You take refuge to yourself. And well, actually, ultimately, you have to take refuge to yourself. And that is correct. But initially, you have to take refuge to somewhere else, because you are unqualified to be the object of taking refuge. You don't have the knowledge, you don't have skill, you don't have a power to lead or guide yourself. It's like growing as a human being, as a child growing slowly. So when the little child cannot be independent, self-sufficient, cannot educate himself or herself, cannot earn living and have a life, and without support by the parents, without guidance by the parents and teachers, schools. That's why every corner of the world, most society, most countries, civilization, today's civilization, and they send the kids to school. And because the kid can't do himself or herself, and not capable to support or whatever, learn and so on. So he or she has to go to school and need a teacher, need parents, need a teacher, need school. This is a simple example. Like that, for as a living being, as a human being, in order to become, in order to liberate from samsara and to become, or to become a Buddha, we need holy teacher, Buddha, as a teacher, Buddha as an example. So when you say I go refuge to Buddha, means I go refuge to Buddha as an example, and I will follow the footsteps of Buddha, and I will practice Dharma the way the Buddha practiced, and then you study and learn the life of Buddha. And Buddha was a human being, Buddha was a human being, and he was Prince. His name was Prince Siddhartha. Gautama Buddha was Prince Siddhartha. His parents are wealthy, King Suddhodana and Queen Maya Devi. And he was the king of Shakya clan at the foothills of the Himalayas, the most beautiful place. Lumbini and Kapilavastu and is the birthplace, and then the foothills of Himalayas, all this beautiful forest and big snow mountains, and abundant food and most fertile land, and so many trees, so many plants, flora, fauna, and very rich kingdom. He was born there, and then he renounced life, become a sannyasin or a yogi or a monk, and then practiced, did asceticism, meditated for 6 years at least, and then taught Dharma, and for 46 years, and after he got enlightened. So this is a perfect example. Buddha practiced renunciation, Buddha practiced bodhicitta and shunyata. Buddha practiced 6 paramitas, three principal paths. And Buddha practiced 6 paramitas. And Buddha taught Hinayana path, Mahayana path, and Vajrayana path. And Buddha taught Vajrayana or Tantrayana in sacred lands, hidden lands. He did not taught Tantra for common people, because not everyone is qualified to receive teachings on Tantra. And so he did taught Kala Chakra Tantra, Heruka Chakra Sambhara Tantra, Yamantaka Tantra, and Vajra Tantra, and so on and so forth. And so Buddha is an example. When we say I take refuge to Buddha, Buddha is the example. We follow the footsteps of the Buddha, practice morality, generosity, patience, and perseverance, so on, all the 6 perfections. And then we take refuge to Dharma. So Dharma is Tibetan word Che, and Che means that the teaching of Buddha that will change our mind, change our personalities, changes our habits, and it makes us better person, healthy person, and happy person. Buddha's teaching is philosophy of happiness, And Buddhist teaching is very profound psychology. And Buddhism is logical. Buddhist teaching are rational, and not irrational, like a kind of blind faith, rational. And Buddhism also teach equality, rationality and equality, and logic, with the logic and debate and psychology. Profound teaching. And also Buddhism respects everybody's, their mental capacity and potential, whatever you are doing, whoever you are, let's put that way. So Dharma is the medicine. The Buddha himself is like a doctor. Dharma is the medicine. Sangha is like the helper and the nurse. And we need all of those. We need a doctor, we need medicine, we need a nurse. When we are not well physically and mentally, we are not strong enough. When we go through up and downs, we go through crisis or grieving state, or we go through trauma and fear, anxiety. And for example, right now we have a epidemic and COVID. And so a lot of people are suffering in the world and become poor and so much anxiety. And so right this very moment, the taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is extremely important. We as a Buddhist, two things we have to do. One is taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Rely on the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The other thing is we rely on our own karma. So I will talk about karma a little bit later. And so take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. When you feel you are lost, you feel depressed, when you feel you're confused and hopeless situation, then take refuge to Buddha. And it makes huge difference for your mind and for well-being. And to get morning to take refuge, midday take refuge, and evening take refuge. And in a tantric tradition, in the Gelug tradition, we have a practice called 6 session Guru Yoga. Tunduk Laminal Jor in Tibetan. Tunduk. Tun is sessions, or Tunduk Laminal. So it's advised that you should do this practice 3 times during the day, 3 times at night, if you can, if you would like to, or if not, you can do 4 times during the day, or 2 times at night, or you do all 6 all together. Maybe 2 times in the morning, 2 times during the day, 2 times in the evening. So Tundu. So what are we doing now here? What are we doing here? So Tundu Laminanju is Guru Yoga, and also Guru Yoga, which means the Guru. You take refuge to Guru. Now, so Guru is not separate from Buddha. Guru is not separate from Dharma and Sangha. Guru is Buddha, Guru is Dharma, Guru is Sangha. Who is the Guru here? Here I'm talking about Shakyamuni Buddha. Buddha Shakyamuni is our Guru, the first Guru. And Guru is Sanskrit word, and Tibetan word is a Lama. We say Lama Tomba Chumdindi Pajawa Shakya Tubala Shak Salo. I prostitute to you, to the Lama, teacher, perfectly enlightened, completely enlightened. And Chumdindi. So we take refuge to Guru Shakyamuni. Along with that, you could also imagine all your personal gurus of this life, human gurus, and you met gurus in this life, received teachings and initiations, advice, and so on and so forth. And you can imagine these gurus and Shakyamuni Buddha are all one, same. And these gurus that you have, you can you can imagine there are the emanations, there are embodiments, there are incarnations of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay, so when we talk about emanation or incarnation, there are different kinds of incarnations. In Tibetan, what do we say? Kuyi tulpa, sungi tulpa, tuki tulpa, yondingi tulpa, tinlingi tulpa. Okay, Kuyi tulpa means emanation or incarnation of the body. Sungi tulpa is the emanation or incarnation of the speech. And Tuki tulpa is emanation or incarnation of the mind. Yondingi tulpa means incarnation or emanation of the knowledge. And Tilegi tulpa, which means incarnation or emanation of action. Okay. So let's say you have one guru in this life, or one or two. As a human being, real guru, you can consider that guru is emanation of the Buddha's body, speech, mind, knowledge, and wisdom, all three, all five. Why not? And there's no contradictions. And because what it means is Buddha's blessings, Buddha's teachings, Buddha's inspiration, energy shines through the body of the guru, speech of the guru, mind of the guru, knowledge of the guru, and action of guru. If you have a guru, perfect guru, you will see the Buddha's body in him or her. You will see the Buddha's speech, and you see Buddha's mind. You see Buddha's knowledge and actions all. You can see it. You can feel it. There is a book called Word of My Perfect Teacher by Patul Rinpoche. Patul Rinpoche, Zapatul. He is great guru of the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. Word of My Perfect Guru. I think it's Kunzang Lami Shalung in Tibetan. Kunzang, Kunduzangbo means perfectly, everything is perfect. Lami Shalung is word speech. Okay. So we say Lama Sangya Lama Chutayin Lama Ginde. Kunji Chebo Lama Nam Chaksalo. Okay. So there's no, and according also there's no contradiction. According to Tibetan history, we have what we call incarnations. We have tulkus, right? And our incarnations are tulkus, right? So this concept of incarnation and tulku is not made in Tibet, Tibet. And the incarnation tulku tradition goes back to India, time of Shakyamuni Buddha. And even before Shakyamuni Buddha, it goes back to the Hindu tradition. And Buddhism and Hinduism are very close. They're sort of like, I'm not sure if this is correct or not. It's kind of like that Old Testament and New Testament. And you see, and so the concept of reincarnation was already in Hindu tradition, and they called avatar. Okay. And when I saw the movie Avatar, I said, I think he got that idea, the way he borrowed the word. And most people in Canada, people don't know what is that. It's some nice word. It's like saying nirvana or something. Anyway, a lot of people also know why. And so, according to Hindu tradition, Buddha is avatar, one of the 10 avatar of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Hindu god, avatar, incarnation. So it's nice. That's nice that we share that. And I'm not sure personally how Buddha and Vishnu are connected, this and that. But it was interesting thing is when I went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and I was there once, yes. And Angkor Wat was Hindu temple, Vishnu temple. And you can still see big Vishnu statues there. It was Hindu temple. The whole Sri Vijaya Empire in Cambodia, Indonesia, and Thailand, and Malay Peninsula, and all that. Sumatra was ruled by Sri Vijaya Empire, one of the biggest empire in the world. And there are Hindus. Island of Java, island of Sumatra, all Hindus and Buddhist. So you see the temple of Borobudur in Java is the biggest temple in the southern hemisphere, Buddhist temple. And there's also temple Mandut and temple Prabanang, not very far from Borobudur, about 30 kilometers. And these are the biggest Hindu temples. So the Hindus and Buddhists are coexist side by side. And so then Angkor Wat was Vishnu Hindu temple. It was attacked by Vietnamese and destroyed, and then rebuilt. And then again, Vietnamese came, attacked and destroyed. And then Hindu empire declined, and then the Buddhist empire rise. Then one of the Buddhist king called Jayavarman, and then made Angkor was bought as a Buddhist temple, and Theravadan Buddhist temple, or maybe Mahayana Buddhist temple, then Theravadan Buddhist temple. So right now it's a Buddhist temple, and Hindu as well. And they're side by side, and they're Vishnu statues. Hindu people can go there, worship Vishnu, Buddhists worship Buddha. Anyway, so I'm talking about avatars, incarnations, okay? So in Tibetan tradition, we have incarnation, or some lamas are called the incarnation of the speech of the Buddha. For instance, Lama Tsongkhapa and Sakya Pandita and Lungchenpa are the emanation of Manjushri Buddha. Manjushri is the Buddha of wisdom. He is the embodiment of wisdom of all the Buddhas. And Manjushri is the incarnation of speech of all the Buddhas. And Manjushri is the incarnation of speech of Shakyamuni Buddha. And so the Lama Tsongkhapa, Lungchenpa, and Sakya Pandita are speech emanations of Manjushri, speech emanation of the Buddha. So we have like this in Tibet, you see. And then Amitabha Buddha and Avalokiteshvara. And all the previous, our present and previous Dalai Lamas are the incarnations of Avalokiteshvara, Chenrezig. And present incarnation, present Panchen Lama and the previous Panchen Lamas are all incarnations of Amitabha Buddha. And so Chenrezig is the compassion, Buddha of compassion, okay, compassion and love. And Amitabha is Buddha of love also, but Buddha of what we call infinite light, Okay, so talking about, we take refuge to Buddha, Buddha's body, speech, and mind. When you take refuge, Buddha, body, speech, and mind. So let's say you get up in the morning, you take refuge to Buddha. So you not only taking refuge to one Buddha, and you take refuge to all the Buddhas. All the Buddhas are one, and many at the same time. So then when you take refuge to Buddha, it makes you feel like, okay, Shakyamuni Buddha, for instance, he was a human being, he got enlightened. And I am a human being, I could become enlightened. And we all have sufferings. Human race, human history, there was always suffering. There was always war, famine, disease, and always happened in the past. It's happening right now. It will happen in the future. This is why Buddha Shakyamuni descended from heaven, from Tushita Pure Land to the earth, this particular earth, to help us. And all the future Buddhas will be also descending on this earth and to teach us, to help us. So we have help, we have a protection, we have a refuge. And it is worthwhile to and important to take a refuge. Then you feel protected, right? Now, Dharma is actually the real refuge, and real refuge. Dharma is like the medicine. See, doctor can give you diagnose and read your pulse and check your body. Then he give you prescriptions and medicine, and then you take the medicine. You follow the advice um, of the doctor, and then you practice medicine. Take the medicine, use the medicine, and then you can become healthy, and one could recover, right? So Dharma is the one who actually changes our body, mind, and body, mind, and speech, and it changes our system, physical and mental um, capacities and possibilities. So taking refuge in the Dharma is important. And so taking refuge in Dharma means we practice Dharma, meditate in the morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whenever, meditate, practice. Lama Tsongkhapa advised that you should meditate 18 times a day when you have time. Especially monks and nuns, yogis and yoginis, you got lots of time, and you can do 18 times a day. Nowadays, a lot of people have time, and we stay at home because of restrictions in COVID, and you can also save your time, do retreats, and so on and so forth. So taking refuge to Dharma means you meditate. Then taking refuge to Sangha is we rely on each other, we support each other as a community, and we are very fortunate. We have a Sangha, we have a community. At this moment, we can't see each other and sit down together physically, and we have to do this social distancing because of COVID. But at least we have this amazing technology like a Zoom and internet and YouTube and FaceTime and so on and so forth. Um, we are still gathering here, and on Zoom we can also see each other's face, and far away from places, and 10,000 kilometers far from here to the other side of the world, down under Australia. You can see right in front of your computer, in front on your computer, and in your living room. You can see your teacher in front of you in your living room, and teacher can see the students in front of him or her. So we are very, in a way, we are very fortunate. And this is all what we're doing here is effort of Sangha community. So we support each other. We are very fortunate. And so I think that's all I that's all I like to say right now about um, refuge. And then I will talk about now subject which is karma. Okay. So the word karma, the word guru or yoga, all these are now become sort of universal language almost. When you say yoga, most people in the West know the word what yoga is. It's almost become part of the dictionary. Likewise, karma. Most people know the word karma, heard about the word karma, may not know exactly what it means, right? And so the karma is Sanskrit word, karma, Karma, and the Pali word is kamma, Kamma, kamma. So the Pali and Sanskrit, the same language, a little bit different, and Pali is like a dialect of Sanskrit. So Tibetan word is lay, and karma is called lay, and which means action. Um, Action, karma is law of cause and effect and action, volition, action, and so lay, karma. Okay. Now, karma is cause and effect. So, and there are different kinds of karmas, so many different kinds of karmas. So we call kusala, akusala, kusala and akusala, and virtuous karma and non-virtuous karma, good karma and bad karma, right? Different kinds of karma. So now most people know the idea, the word good karma or bad karma, right? We say, oh, that's good karma for you. And it means it's good for you. You're doing something good. You have done something good. Bad karma for you means you have done something wrong, not so good. And bad karma. Then there's a individual karma. Then there's a collective karmas. Then there is almost what we call instant karmas, right? There's many different kinds of karmas. And so in Buddhism, karma is everything. And in one of the famous Tibetan Buddhist, well, actually Indian Buddhist texts called Abhidharma Kosha, composed by Acharya Vasubandhu. And he says, Lele njigde naso che, then is simbatang di che. Lele njigde naso che, then is simbatang di che. Lele njigde naso che means all the different world system and world situation, everything is product of karma, result of karma. Then is simbatang di means. Now the karma is result of mind, result of your mind. Then is simbatang di by the mind and by the action, karma. So all the good, all the bad, happiness, suffering, whatever is happening in this world, in the past, present, in the future, is all karma. And world is created by the karma. So in Buddhism, everything is karma. And we don't have a concept of some other, we don't have a concept or some other creator. We don't have the concept. Everything is karma. So if somebody wants to say, what about a God? Well, God could be karma. You see? In Buddhism, karma is the creator. Karma is sustainer. Karma is destroyer. For instance, in Hindu tradition, there is a Brahma. The god Brahma is the creator. Brahma created everything. The world, sun and moon, stars, everything is created by the Brahma. And Vishnu is the god. He is sort of mysterious and he is also loving. And he is sustainer, maintainer, the god. And Shiva is the god who destroys. And then when things are not so good, it's demolishing. It's like old buildings, no good, ready to collapse, dangerous to walk in, and you have demolishing company comes and demolish, right? Shiva's work is like this. So from Buddhist point of view, Brahma is karma, Vishnu is karma, and Shiva is karma. Everything is karma. Okay, so let me talk about now. So the karma, and as I said, there are different kinds of karmas, right? Then we have virtuous karma and non-virtuous karmas. So virtuous karma is that you and I create virtues, something wholesome, something good, and beneficial for others, for myself. Virtue, no harms, and not instead of harming, helping, serving, doing something wonderful, something fantastic, something very good, and very spiritual, and it's kind of humanitarian work. Whatever you're doing, something virtuous, and that is a good karma. And there are actually 10 virtuous karmas. And there are 10 non-virtuous karmas, like non-virtuous karma of the mind. Yeah, for example, ignorance, anger, hatred, and so on and so forth. Jealousy, envy, and this and that. Those are non-virtuous mind. And non-virtuous mind, and non-virtuous speech, non-virtuous action. And non-virtuous speech is like you saying something unpleasant. It harsh words. It hurts others' feelings, insulting, and things like that. That's non-virtuous speech. Or saying something very devious, something that is slender or harms, creates schism, creates disunity in the Sangha or in the community. That is a non-virtuous speech. And also saying something that is useless, that is nonsense, doesn't make any sense, or slightly creating bad, giving a bad interpretation or impression, and that is what we call gossip. Gossip. Also, those are um, non-virtuous speech and non-virtuous actions, physically harming, insulting, or assault, and cause injuries, cause harm, and inflicting harm on physical level, and that's a physical karma. So these are non-virtuous karmas. The virtuous karmas are you cultivate generosity, cultivate morality, practice patience, practice perseverance, practice meditation, practice wisdom, and meditate. There's a virtuous karma. So there's endless virtuous karmas. So many virtuous karmas we can create. There are also so many non-virtuous karma that we could involve, right? So um, many different kinds of karma. Karma is very complex and complicated one. We have saying nobody knows everything about karma, and only the Buddha knows everything about, especially the karmic um, relations, and myself with others, and all everybody else karmas, and also the karma is not just one something that happens only in this life. Karma involved with the previous lives and cause and now and previous life and present life. So many things are interconnected, interrelated, and intertwined, and so is very complicated matter. And we don't know everything about karma, so about past, right? So, but we don't really have to know everything. It's impossible not to know everything, right? The most important at the very moment, this very moment, and we cultivate mindfulness, meditate on mindfulness and observation, observing our body, action of the body, action of the speech, action of the mind, and abstain ourselves from non-virtuous actions, non-virtuous speech, non-virtuous mind, abstaining, and cultivate awareness and mindfulness. And then that's the most important about practicing virtuous karma. And so now talking about karma, and some people think karma is fixed. Karma is fate, right? So I would say karma is not fixed. Karma is not fate. Usually, fate means in English, if I understand correctly, something that you can't change. Okay, fate. So, but karma is not fate. You can change your karmas of the body, speech, and mind right now, and you can make sure that you prevent negative body, speech, and mind, negative karma of the body, speech and mind. You can prevent that by cultivating awareness and mindfulness, by taking precepts and observing precepts and vows and self-discipline, so we can have some control over our karmas of the future. And we can also have, we have ability, we have power to purify previous karmas. We have a method to purify our previous karmas. And we could do meditation and recitation of mantras like Vajrasattva mantra. And we can do certain Dharma activities, practice, in order to purify previous karmas that I have committed or collected. And you can do that. So you can purify karma, you can change your karma, you can rearrange your karmas. And therefore, karma is not fixed, or karma is not a fate. Okay. To my understanding, fate means you can't change, right? So then also, one should not confuse about karma with what we call justice or reward or punishments, and should not confuse about justice or reward or fate, and or punishments, stuff like that. So it's easy to confuse, and people say a certain way and cause confusion. People are not sure what they're saying. Like sometimes when they say, "Oh, that's your karma," and well, that's okay to say that, but if you have the attitude behind, you're saying, "Well, that's your fault, and you're punished. You are punishable, and you deserve this kind of suffering, and it's your karma." So that's sort of very harsh, right? And that's very sort of unpleasant and blaming, right? Well, in one sense, yeah, it is. That's how it is, and it's our own karma, right? We created karma, but the thing is, and you don't have to create another bad karma, negative karma, by saying you deserve this unwholesome karma to yourself. That act itself, that attitude itself or speech itself is unwholesome karma again, right? So you could be more polite and gentle, saying, "Well, I'm sorry that you are suffering, and but I wish you will be free, you will be recover from this illness, or and it might be purification. Maybe this is a lesson and obstacle blessings, and you could be very polite and be more positive and helpful and kind to that person, or to yourself, right? To yourself. You don't have to sabotage yourself. Say, "Oh, it's all my bad karma," or I deserve this, and I'm terrible, I'm bad, I'm bad. Like keep saying that to yourself. That doesn't help, right? And we can be good, we can be bad, and we're not always good, not always bad. That's human nature, right? This is how we are. And I'm trying to be here honest, like that's how it is. So now I'd like to talk a little bit more about um, for example, collective karma and individual karmas. And let's say about, first of all, let's say believing karma, accepting karma. What is the value of believing karma and accepting karma? Okay, so actually, believing karma, agreeing, accepting the notion of karma or the definition of karma, it is very valuable one. Believing, usually believe means sort of a blind faith, right? So when it comes to karma, you don't always have to believe in it. You can see the result of karma. You see the evidence of your karma in this very lifetime, in your every week, or in your everyday life. You can see your own karma. It's not a question of believing or not believing. It depends on what you do in your life. So let's say if you eat too much food, that's your karma, right? So what the result is. What do you get the result if you eat too much? I don't need to explain. You know, we all know. Or if you don't get enough sleep, what is the result of? So not getting enough sleep, not sleeping, that is karma, right? Then what's the result? We know. You know. I don't need to explain to you what the result is not getting enough sleep. What is the result of overworked? You're burned out. Overworking is karma. Then result is there. You know the result. Overwork, stress, and this and that. Many problems. What is the karma of smoking? What is the karma of drinking? I don't need to explain the result of smoking. What happened? Too much smoking. What happened? Too much drinking. Things like that. So you don't need to talk about believing or not believing. It's right there. Okay? And yeah. So karma is part of life, you know. And and therefore, karma is profound psychology. And so you could do analytical meditation on karma. Think about karma and then cause and effect, how it works, and how things works. And then we can see the result of karma. We can see the cause and effect. You don't need to think about believing or not believing. So now, as I said before, and investigating about karma, meditate on karma, practicing karma, it is valuable because then we can change our actions, change our behavior and habit. We can create more good karma and virtues. Karma is law of cause and effect. So now, also I'd like to talk about as I said before, briefly I mentioned about the collective karma and individual karmas, right? So there's two things, collective karma and individual karma. Collective karma is the global karma. Right now, the whole world is experiencing collective karma of COVID-19 and pandemic. This is a collective karma. And there is no country, no city, no community, and they're not really affected by COVID. And some cities and some countries, some places, fortunate, they don't have cases of COVID sickness, but now they are affected because you can't go somewhere else. You can't invite your family, friends. You're kind of locked down. You're not allowed to go, leave, come. And so everyone on this earth, every human beings, every countries and town, everybody's affected by the pandemic. This is collective karma. Collective karma, right? Yeah, it's collective karma. So Now, within this collective karma, there's individual karmas. So now the collective karma is created by the collective of people, human race, human beings. We all created this karma somehow in the past or in the recent times, globally collected. Now it is happening to us. It can happen again and again and again. So there's so much happening in this world. Capitalism, communism, all this is collective karmas. Capitalism is collective karma. Global warming and climate change, all this is collective karmas. And when you're hit by earthquake, when there's a tsunami, when there's cyclone, when there's tornadoes, typhoon, this is also collective karma of certain areas. And all this is karma somehow created in the past. And that is collective karma. And created by individual karma. And then there's also individual karma, different kind of karmas, individually. Okay, I have the karma of being born as a Tibetan person, and in Tibet, and then become a lama, entering the monastery, become a lama and teacher, and so on. That is my karma, and you have your own karmas as a Dharma practitioner, student, and so on and so forth. We have good karma, collective karma. But at the same time, we are individual. We all more or less same, but not exactly same. We all individual karmas. So let's talk about collective karma and individual karma. For example, when an airplane flying, suddenly, all of a sudden, the airplane crashed. So majority people dies. That's a collective karma. And there are miracles. Some people survive. Few people survive, and few children survive. That is individual karma of that child. And this happens in a train crash, or derailed, or this happens in a car crash, a multiple car crash, and many people dies, and some people survive. Some people got few bruises and cuts and walk away. That's his or her individual karmas. So now, how does this happen? Why this happened? That, and it's hard to explain, hard to describe, because we don't know how long time ago, when it was all these things created in the past. That's just a different thing. That's the difference between collective and individual karmas. So now I like to talk about transcending karmas, and purification of karmas. Okay, and we can, as I said, karma is not a fate. We can change our karmas, and so we usually create karma by our body, speech, and mind. So then, in order to purify the karma that is created by our body, speech, and mind, then we need to practice meditation and purifications. For example, we can meditate on bodhicitta, loving kindness, and when you meditate on love and kindness, meditate on loving kindness for all sentient beings. This purifies our mind and purifies our mind of anger, resentment, and also it purifies our mind of like a self-centered mind and selfish mind. It purifies our mind by meditating on loving kindness, metta, meditate on metta, meditate on karuna, meditate on love, meditate on compassion, practice bodhicitta, cultivate Shanti Deva's technique, exchanging the attitude of oneself with others. Dak Yin Ji, Chanchu Sim. In Tibetan we say Dak Yin, Dak is self, Yin is others, Nyam Ye means together. Exchange the attitude of oneself with others, meditate in loving kindness. bodhicitta, then it purifies our self-centered mind. It purifies our um, anger and blames and frustration and so on and so forth of the present time, and also karmas that we created in the past by our anger and our frustration and so on and so forth, and purifies karma by meditating on the bodhicitta. And then also meditate on shunyata, emptiness. When you meditate on emptiness, shunyata, purify our mind. I will explain how meditating on emptiness purify mind. Some people think meditate on emptiness, purify mind. How does that work? Just meditating on emptiness, thinking about emptiness, think about all the phenomena empty, does not exist inherently, independently exist. How does it purify the karmas? Well, I'm explaining now. So our mind becomes very, time to time, our mind becomes very self-centered. We have self-grasping, and we have so-called, in English, ego. In Tibetan word is actually dangzin, same thing, ego. Ego is English word, right? I'm not sure exactly the Latin word or English background, ego, what does ego means. But what I understand, ego is similar to Tibetan word we call dangzin, self-cherishing, self-gratification, and holding into self, making oneself more important, trying to kind of like polishing yourself, trying to make it beautiful, or acting like beautiful, or pretending, or defending, and whatever. It's like ego, And some people have huge ego, and they're very arrogant. They can be very arrogant, right? And you could even call yourself a god, call yourself Bhagavan, and the Hindi Sanskrit word is Bhagavan, which is God, right? I am God, I'm Bhagavan, I'm this and I'm that. I'm venerable and I'm holiness, I'm Shri. And Sanskrit word, not only one Shri, Shri, twice, or three times, Shri. And I'm this, I'm that, I'm honorable and whatever, right? In English terms like sir, right? In order to earn the title of sir, you have to get the knighthood. Am I right? From the queen, or that you are sir this, sir that, somebody important person, and whatever. Every culture has these kind of words, and every language has these kind of honorable, so-called honorable words to boosting the ego, right? I'm the czar, I am the emperor, I am the whatever, right? President, and I am this and I'm that, I'm a holiness, I am venerable, I am this and that, whatever. Uh, I'm a general, I'm a colonel, I am this, I'm that, I'm the chief of the tribe, and those are labels. And I'm Lama, I'm Rinpoche, I'm master, I'm yogi, I'm yogini, I'm this, I'm that. So everything, all these words can boosting one's own ego, if one has ego, strong ego. If one does not have ego, does not have a clinging to the self, it doesn't matter. All these are a bunch of words. Doesn't matter. Who cares? They're just words. They are words. Labels. They are imputed labels. And the holy lamas like First Panchen Lama, Losang Chuji Gyaltsen, or Kachin Yishi Gyaltsen, famous Gelugpa Lamas, they don't have ego. If you call them holiness or, whatever, and Chabgi or Jamgun or whatever, they don't care. Just words. All right? You can say whatever you like. That's all right. It doesn't harm me, it doesn't hurt me, or doesn't make me bigger or smaller, whatever, right? So anyway, the um, um, so you have this self-grasping, ego grasping, is then on short term, it sort of feels good that you have this title. You feel I'm special, I'm important. But it's a long term, it is not very useful because it's just labels, and it's just words, and it's like we have saying in English: if you win, you are hero. If you lose, you are criminal. So it's just like that. Then you were a hero last week. Now suddenly you're a criminal. Everybody thinks you're a criminal. You're a bad guy. And when you win again, then everybody thinks, oh, you're a hero. You're wonderful, right? It all depends on the situation and depends on the projection, mind, politics, lots of stuff like that. Anyway, so um, I'm talking about here the benefit of meditating on shunyata, emptiness. How does shunyata, emptiness, purify your mind? When you meditate on emptiness, shunyata, it purifies ego, purify this grasping to self. I'm important, I'm this, I'm that, I'm now not. And who am I? I'm this, I'm that, I'm not, I'm that. There's a books in India called I'm That, I'm Not, and all kinds of books like that. And who am I? I'm not, don't know. Or who am I? Don't know. And then why worry? And I don't exist. There's all these books and sayings by Ramana Maharishi. And who am I? Who am I? I don't know. Then why worry? And so so when you meditate on shunyata, and then you suddenly realize there is no self, no self-existent self. You cannot find a self. Self is only concept of self. Self is imputed by mentally. In Tibetan word is tokpe taksam. Tokpe taksam means imputed labels. Nga, ngaye wa. Everything is tokpe taksam, which means mentally imputed. So there is no self, inherently existent self. Self is only the concept of self. So then if you realize emptiness of self, that is called realizing shunyata. That's called realizing shunyata, or personality, emptiness of personality. Then your ego will go slowly become less and less, right? And less, become more and more realistic. And you are more and more free of self-grasping. When you are more free of self-grasping, you are more liberated. Cause the problem is the ego, self-grasping, and grasping to others. All the grasping, clinging is the problem. Attachment is the problem. And these clingings are generated by ignorance, a lack of understanding of shunyata, lack of understanding dependent arising, and lack of understanding dependent arising and emptiness of coexistence. Tendil, Tibetan word, tenjing dewa, junga, and tungbani. Tendi tungbut, tandu, tandang, tungba, tenjung, and lack of understanding the dependent and the emptiness are one, like the two sides of the coin. And two sides of the door. One side of the door is entrance, the other side of the door is exit. Same door. There's no two doors, one door. Sometimes they have two doors, like in Russia, in Mongolia, some government offices, security, they have two doors. Normally, we have only one doors. And so, um, so when we meditate on emptiness, then that purifies our mind, purifies our karma. So I'm here talking about method of purifying karmas, right? So you meditate on emptiness, it purifies karmas because it purifies karma right now. Because then you are not able to create karma by your mind and by your ego, purifying karma. So I explained, meditate on bodhicitta, loving kindness, purifies karma. Meditate on shunyata, purifies karma. Meditate on renunciation, will purify karma. So renunciation, bodhicitta, and shunyata are three principal paths. Tibetan word nginjung, changchup jusem, yang da betawa. Nginjung, changchup sem yang da betawa is the method of purifying karma. So we got 10 minutes now. So I will leave it here today. And if you have questions, I'm sure people usually have questions when we talk about karma. If you have questions, you are most welcome. And then this is the last Sunday talk, because we are going to do retreat for next 3 weeks until the March 15th. So no Sunday teachings. There will be Sunday teachings after March 13th. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, very clear. Thank you, Rinpoche. Brian Hoff asks, you mentioned that COVID-19 is collective karma. Do you have any examples of virtuous collective karma? It would be good to encourage more of this type of karma. Any suggestions how to assist in this?
You mean this situation right now?
Yeah, like COVID is the negative collective karma.
Right.
So he says, what would be an example of a virtuous collective karma, and how can we support creating that?
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. So I'm not talking about COVID now, right? He's not asking questions about COVID.
No, he's asking about virtuous.
Virtuous karma. Well, let's say the virtuous collective karma is, it can be made, can be built together. And the only way to build virtuous collective karma is individual person creating virtuous karma. We work together creating karma, good karma, then we create collective virtuous karma. Let me tell you example. We have problems in this world, climate change, and many other problems, and environmental problems, polluting the rivers, lakes, waters, earth, and by all the plastic garbages and waste, right? So this is a collective karma, unwholesome karma. We create it. So to turn around this and to make a collective karma, trying to make collectively good environment, a good environment, and livable environment, and it depends on us individually. So if we all develop global consciousness or individual consciousness, contributing global consciousness, awareness. For example, there are a lot of people doing this already. For example, not to create trash or garbage and plastics, and not to waste, and not to dump toxic waste into the earth, burying on earth, or burning rubbishes, goodbye ozone layer, all the smoke going up, and not do that, and not dump stuff in the rivers, and not polluting, and use less plastic. Instead of plastic, use some paper or cotton bags, whatever. If all in, I mean, not all of them, it's not possible, but as much as possible, as many people take responsibilities and do something good for the environment, for the world. That is collective good karma. And to create a collective good karma, it depends on individuals. There is no giant collective karma that suddenly come down from the sky. And we have to build up by ourselves individually. Like we're like little ants running around collecting food and building ant homes, or butterflies running around up on trees and cutting little pieces of leaf and building some kind of home. You see on the National Geography and David Attenborough's show. And these ants, these butterflies, they are building something together, and homes and this and that. We're no different. We're little ants. We're like little butterflies. We can build collectively good environment, good homes. It depends on us individually.
Right, good. Thank you so much. Amanda asks, taking refuge is a beautiful practice. I have seen it translated as taking safe direction, rather than taking refuge. Is this okay? Maybe a bit easier to imagine if we do it that way. So taking safe direction as opposed to taking refuge.
Well, it's up to individual. I think the word taking refuge is commonly used in all these different Buddhist texts, Buddhist teachings, and used, and we have in the book. But see, when you say we see the word, the Sanskrit word, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Gacchami means going. I go refuge to Buddha. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami is I go refuge to Dharma. So I go refuge to Buddha. There's nothing wrong with saying I go refuge to Buddha. Actually, going refuge is a good word, because refuge means I need help, I need protection, I am victim, I am suffering. It's like refugee, right? Refugee and the word refuge, same words. It's a different way of using it. So we are refugees. I am a refugee. I'm a Tibetan refugee. Well, after 45 years and 50 years, more than 50 years being in outside Tibet, I don't know, I can call myself refugee anymore, but in some ways I'm a refugee. We're all refugees, basically. Everybody's refugees in this world, and in some ways. So I don't see any problem using the word refuge.
Okay.
And you use the word, what's the other word?
Safe direction.
Well, safe direction, again, it's the same thing. Safe means refuge, and direction is going. You're going that direction, going this direction, that direction. It's no difference. That's my point of view.
Wonderful, thank you. Just waiting for more questions to come up.
right? I guess that's a question.
It was a very clear teaching.
Okay. All right. I'd like to say thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, and a wonderful opportunity for share the Holy Dharma with you. I wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again on YouTube next month after March
14.
14th. Thank you. Bye for now.